Good morning, evening, and afternoon, and welcome to part 51 of Aokana, no彼方のフォーリズム. So this, I believe, is the second part of Rika's route. The first part was more of an introduction to her joining the club, or kind of the club, joining their practice officially. And we got to learn a bit more in regards to how Rika is and her current situation, which kind of, I think, paves the road for how we plan on progressing the route, I guess you could say. Because as mentioned before, the way I view routes is you get given a problem, and you use that, you try and solve that problem through the route. So one of the things we learned about Rika was that she is extremely diligent and she likes to clean before practice. I don't know if she does the cleaning afterwards as well, but we know she does it before. We also know that she is extremely by the book in terms of her flying style and her play style, I should say. And that is also her weakness. It's her strength and weakness. So, two characters, both Aoi and Shindo, had asked Masaya for his reasonings for accepting Rika to join them for practice. And his answer was that he sees Rika as his past self. Someone who performed well and does well, but they will end up reaching a wall, and he is afraid of Rika being unable to pass that wall. So he wants to solve that problem for her, or assist it, I guess I should say. So that is kind of the situation we are given right now. We have to try and figure out how to get Rika to be more... I'm not sure how to really say this, but she's too by the books. She's too easy to read, maybe, or she's too easy to surprise, I guess you could say. She needs to, maybe it's her mentality. I'm not too sure what it is that she really needs to focus on to improve, but I'm sure we'll see what it is. But here we are remembering a moment with SunaeVN, talking about Rika. Let's see.
でも、そこから先は真面目さだけでは勝てません。
She's talking about being the majimena, which is more like the seriousness, the by the books in a sense. If she keeps going that way, she will not be able to progress. She won't be able to get any further.
それを超える何かを彼女が得るには、もっと柔軟に物事を考える必要があります。
That makes me think though that they had the idea, they knew where Rika would struggle. So in a sense that makes it seem like they could tell they could not solve the problem for her. They were unable to help Rika in their current situation. But they see it as Masaya can, which I don't see how. Anyway, it's a bit of a weird situation where it seems like they know the problem, but expects an outsider to solve it for them. Ah well. I remember thinking that was a good observation. SunaeVN's son understands that Rika is bound to convention and sought to change that. That's probably why she's fine with sending her to our school to gain more knowledge. Well, that makes things simple. I get up, pick up my phone, and leave a note for myself on it, so I don't forget. I jot down everyone's actions, what instructions to give after that, and end it off with a key phrase. Have fun practicing. I wonder what this note is about. then. The next day. The skies are clear, so we start off practicing the basics like usual. After that, I gather everyone on the beach and today we're going to have fun practicing.
パン食い競争的なお腹いっぱいになる練習？
Never in my life have I heard of people practicing for a sandwich eating contest.
そういう運動会みたいなの面白そうですね。
I guess it's kinda close.
そうなんですか？
Our practice will be similar to the blindfolded race.
運動会でもマイナーな種目だね。
It happens, trust me. Now, you guys should pair up.
お！
That was instant. Masaya jumps forward and latches onto Misaki's arm.
美咲先輩はいついかなる時も私と一緒です。
But in these types of situations, I believe it would be better for Masaya to choose the pairing.
相変わらず愛が重いにゃー。では、リカちゃんは私と組みましょう。あ、はい。よろしくお願いします。こちらこそ。
He's quite happy. Asuka copies Mashiro and hugs Rika's arm.
えっと。
Asuka notices how flustered Rika has become and lets go of her.
ごめんなさい。私、調子に乗りましたか？いえ、そうじゃなくて、どう反応したらいいのかわからなかっただけです。はい。こちらこそごめんなさい。そんなことで謝り合わなくていいよ。はい。
She doesn't apologize in Japanese here. She just says, yes, okay, I see. Okay. She's keeping it up even after being told off. I swear this goes way too diligent. I don't think that's what he said in Japanese. Okay. Anyway. And it shows in her playstyle too. Each pair will consist of one player and 1 second. Make sure you have your headsets on the right channel, okay? I'll be listening in on both teams.
了解。で、そろそろ何をするのか教えてくれない？
I can kind of think what's going to happen. The blindfolded players will be up in the air, while the seconds will try and guide them to their opponents in a sense. But in a sense that's more about practicing as a second rather than as a player. You'll be flying in the opposite direction.
逆向きというと背面飛行ということですか？
No, inverted flight refers to flying with your back facing the water. I'm saying you guys will be flying away from what you're facing. Okay.
進行方向に背中をですか？そんな状態じゃまっすぐ飛ぶのも難しいんじゃないですか？
That's why your second will be giving you instructions. You should manage just fine as long as you work together.
まあいつもの基礎練習に比べたら面白そうだけど、それは何のためにやるわけ？
It's to help develop your flying circus instincts. So you'll need to come up with an answer for that question on your own.
FC のを鍛える。
Rika doesn't seem entirely convinced. This probably seems like a huge joke to her since she doesn't understand the real reason I'm doing this. Well, I'm sure they'll understand soon enough. You're not allowed to touch each other. You can only score points from the buoys. We'll start with Rika and Mashiro up in the air. Asuka and Misaki will act as their seconds.
了解です。わかりました。
Mashiro and Rika are lined up. floating bar first with their backs towards second. This is nothing like their usual starting stances.
これでいいんでしょうか。
Perfect.
本当に OK なんですか？なんだかとても不安です。すごく不安です。背中がスースーする感じがしますね。ですよね。パンツを履き忘れて外に出たらこんな感じですよね。
It's almost like she's done it before.
そう言われても経験がないもので。私だってありませんけど。なんとなくですよ、なんとなく。
Mashiro, stop sexually harassing Rika.
してません。ただそのくらい不安だって話をしてるだけですってば。
大丈夫大丈夫、私がしっかり指示を出すから。
100人力です、美咲先輩。リカちゃん。あ、はい。私うまく指示出せるかどうかわからないけど頑張りますね。ありがとうございます。私も頑張ります。
Okay, let's do this. Ready, set, go. On my signal. It must be quite unconventional, I guess you could say.
これは。
They both cry out in confusion.
おーいマシロ、何やってるの？
大丈夫ですか、リカちゃん。
The two of them have gone off to a painstakingly slow start.
後ろに進むのって難しいです。試合の流れの中で後ろ向きになるときは体が自然に動きますけど、最初から後ろなのは頭でこうしなきゃああしなきゃって考えが追いつかなくなって余計にどうやったらいいのかわからなくなります。でも考えるのも練習のうちなんですよね。
You don't need to think. Oh, sorry. We're lost there. You don't need to think all that much right now. Just focus on trying to fly straight. Misaki is gesturing wildly as she instructs Mashiro.
背筋を反らす感じで体をぐーっと後ろに傾けないと前に進まないんだから、倒れる感じで思い切っていこう。
I doubt her overly eager instructions will lead to anything good. Still, this won't actually help them if I involve myself now.
思い切っていきます。
Mashiro throws herself backward.
ましろちゃん。
She immediately does a backflip, then starts flailing around in the air. Stretch out your arms and legs to secure center of gravity. Come on, this is the first thing you learn. Mashiro's rotation speed slows considerably after she stretches out like a star. She breathes a long sigh. See what happens when you just bark out orders without thinking, Misaki? Do things properly, okay?
はーい。
リカちゃんは慣れるまで慎重に行きましょう。
Rika's going painfully slowly.
ちょっと右に寄りすぎました。少し左に行きましょう。わかりました。左ですね。
She twists her shoulders and slowly changes direction.
違います。違います。左です。
Is she referring to her left or Rika's left?
だから左ですよね。
Asuka, you need to reference left and right from her point of view.
そんな初歩的なミスをしてすみませんでした。いえ、そんな私の方こそ気づかなくて。
Your left and right are reversed when going backward, so that mistake isn't all that unexpected. In fact, this is good. They're having to think more already. I feel like someone's staring at me, so I turn around.
やあ、こんにちは。
It really does feel like he's got nothing to do. Oh, it's Shino-san. I didn't realize he was here. I turn off my headset and walk over to him. You could have called out to me earlier.
指導中に声をかけるほど無作法じゃないよ。しかし、 面白い練習をしてるね。さすがだよ。
I just hope it gets results. I look back over to Rika as I say that. She screams as her back slams into the buoy, sending her in reverse along the first line. That's unfortunate. She then slams into Mashiro, who can't see her, and the recoil from that sends her back into the buoy. She's like a pinball out there. Asuka and Misaki are frantically barking out orders, but things don't seem to be going well.
逆向きで飛ぶことで体のバランスを強化しようということか。
Yes.
うん。体幹を鍛えればスピードも上がるはずだからね。
I wanted them to learn how to quickly regain their balance in a dogfight.
うまくいくと思うよ。もっともそれは選手が練習をどう理解するかにもよるんだろうけど。
How far can Rika go, and how much can I make her understand? If I simply explain everything to her, I won't train her mind. That said, without something to prompt her, there's a good chance she won't make much progress.
セコンドを選手にさせているのは試合を客観的に見る癖をつけるためかな。
That's part of it, yes. But I also figure if they get used to giving orders, they'll get better at understanding them during matches. That is a good way of putting it.
なるほどね。高藤でも変則攻撃に対応させる練習はしていたけど、こういう形は思いつかなかったな。
Just helping out your out, but sure. He's complimenting me, or at least I hope he is. I just hope this gets results. I'm glad that Shino-san approves of my approach, but that's not enough to make me happy. I mean, I'm essentially fumbling for an answer here. That hasn't changed. What do you think of today's practice?
いつもと違って楽しかった。
そうですね、楽しかったです。はあ、できる人はいいな。私なんか何回もぐるぐる回って怖かったですよ。
それが楽しいんじゃない。
そうですね、それはもう楽しかったような。
Don't go changing your opinion to match Masaki's. Look, it makes sense that you were scared, okay? What do you think, Rika?
はい。正直よくわかりませんでした。
That's fine for now.
この練習には意味があるんですよね。
Here in the English they say a real point behind it. As if saying that Rika was understanding there was a point, but what was the real point? But here in the Japanese it was more about is there a point behind this?
ありますよ。コーチは無意味な練習をさせたりしませんから。そうですよね。すみません。ということはまだ私だけ理解が。
いやいや、そんなことないって。私も全然分かってないもん。ただ楽しかったってだけでさ。
But does Asuka know?
そうなんですか？なんかこう普段やらない飛び方でしたから、いざという時に役に立つのかなってくらいです。
I guess she had half of it probably. Though I won't ask you to keep it up if you weren't having fun.
はい。
Rika nods, though she still doesn't seem to understand. Though Rika's been confused from the start to end, I decide to finish practice for the day.
今日はリカちゃん先に帰っちゃったんですね。
Yeah, she said she had something to do. Actually, I don't think anybody else knows that we live right next door to her. Oh. Our after practice meeting had turned into us just sitting around chatting. Honestly, Rika was probably confused by having her practice session completely overhauled all of a sudden. Maybe that's why she rushed off. She probably wasn't in the mood to chat. Did I mess things up? Should I have explained things more thoroughly?
でも慣れてくればきっと楽しんでもらえるはずです。
Sure hope so. Thanks, Asuka. You've been a huge help.
いえいえ、リカちゃんと一緒に飛ぶの楽しいですし、あんなに綺麗な飛び方する子と一緒だと私も基本的な動作を頑張らなきゃって思えてきます。
Asuka's a great creative thinker, while Rika has the fundamentals down pat. Don't know why they had to say that. They complement each other well. They may have gotten paired up by chance, but this has worked out perfectly. I'm counting on you to help Rika, Asuka.
頑張ってリカちゃんが楽しく飛べるようお手伝いします。
I just can't stop thinking about it. Later that evening, I'm home. However, I still haven't heard anything from Rika. I don't know why, this just sounded weird. Later that evening, I'm home. Anyway, normally she's asking me a whole load of questions about the day's practice by this point. But I've got her nothing today, which leaves me thinking, which leaves me with nothing to do but laze around. I should stop worrying so much. I mean, worst case scenario, I can just say something when I see her at practice. Huh? Is that the doorbell?
マサヤ、今お母さん手が離せないからちょっと出てくれないかな。
I hear Mom call me from the first floor. She's probably cooking dinner. Okay. I get out of bed and head towards the stairs. And when I'm halfway down them, I cock my head. Hold up. This seems familiar. Has something like this happened before? Okay. I was gonna say, she looks like determined? I was trying to figure out the right word to explain how she looks. I open the door and see the girl with a deadly serious expression on her face. Yeah, this is just like the first time we met. This girl who's wearing cow mittens and holding a cow pot, as she looks up at me, is none other than oh, I was gonna say cow pot? What do you mean by cow pot? But yeah, it's a pot that looks like a cow. Okay. Rika Ichinose. So is this stew? The pot contains something that doesn't really seem to fit the image of the person holding it. It seemed like the sort of dense pork stew you'd find in a random bar. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks delicious, but it seems like food fit for a rough man instead of someone as cute as Rika. Man, this is a huge shock. Rika breaks silence before I can think of anything to say.
これ私が作った豚の角煮なんですが、すっごく美味しくできたと思うんです。
It does look pretty damn good. Great. Feels like I can taste it based on the smell alone.
鹿児島で豚骨を作るときに使うのと同じ黒砂糖と芋焼酎をふんだんに使っています。鹿児島産の黒豚なので風味も豊かで、噛むとジュワッと油の旨味が広がって、それに圧力鍋でしっかり煮込んでますから、煮卵も美味しく味が染み込んでいるはずです。
Cool. Not really sure why she's about to give me her recipe right now. I don't know what they're saying in the beginning. I don't guess what the cool. I would just gone like right, like sure, okay, cool. I don't know. Wait, is this the reason she went home early? That actually does make sense. I mean, if you put the pressure cooker on slow, because normally with the stew, the slow pressure cooking, slow cooking. Start it early in the morning, then by the time it's food time at night, supper, it should be ready. So she probably started it before she went to school, and then had it slowly cooking throughout the day, and then that's why she had to rush home.
だからぜひ食べてください。
Okay, thanks. Managed to convey my gratitude despite the stuttering.
それでですね、お食事の後、ちょっと窓のとこでお話ししませんか？
Oh, I see. That conversation will probably take a while, so she prepared this dish to thank me in advance. I know she's diligent, but this is way more than what I'd expected. Do you want to talk about Flying Circus? Then I've got no reason to refuse. I am your coach, remember?
ありがとうございます。
I mean, it kind of does have a reason. It's not particularly the time, I guess you could say. You could say he could have said something like, "Because you save it for tomorrow during practice," type of thing. But I can see why I should be worried for him to deny it. But yeah, Rika happily bows to me.
それでは失礼します。
Sounds like she's in a hurry to go do something or again. She came in and out like a storm. But the only trace of her that's left is a warm pot of beef stew in my hands. I really hope I can ease her mind, especially since she gave me this. The warm steamy scent of the stew wafts into my nose as I mull over my thoughts. But yeah, it tasted really, really good.
そうですか。それは良かったです。
Both of my parents, but especially my drunkard of a dad, loved Rika stew. Needless to say, I did as well. Drunkard of a dad, really? Sake no mi na. Okay. Well, I was just saying drunkard of a dad sounds quite aggressive and quite negative. So I wasn't quite sure. But I think it's more just that his dad loves alcohol. So drunkard, yeah, to me drunkard is not the right word. Because from what I have seen and how can I say this? My knowledge of this isn't particularly great, and I've only seen few examples. But from what I've seen, quite a few office working and quite a lot of people who work extremely long, hard days, and then when they get home, they like to open a can and have a drink and they eat. It's a bit of a different way people are where I am. People don't normally do that. But then again, I don't have that much of a view, I guess you could say. But I see it as a more normal-ish, depending on the person, I guess you could say. So drunkard to me is not the right word, whereas his father who likes alcohol, I guess you could say. Anyway. In fact, it was so wonderful that I've started to think all you really need in life is food. That's the perfect mixture of salty and sweet. This is a lot different from what I'm used to. Were there a lot of special ingredients?
それは多分芋焼酎と黒砂糖のせいですね。鹿児島にある豚骨という料理のレシピを角煮に応用してみたんですよ。
Alright, she did mention that earlier. That reminds me, you came here from Kanoshima, right? We haven't really talked about her past before.
ええ、まあ。それでお話ししたいことなんですが。
Ah, okay. Let's do it. Based on how quickly she's changing the topic, I get the feeling that she doesn't want to talk about her time on Kanoshima. I don't particularly know about locations all that well, but the way they're talking about it here in the English, it kind of makes me feel like Kanoshima is an island. Anyway.
今日の練習、もしかしてあれが進藤部長がおっしゃってたことなんですか？
Sorry if I'm keep nitpicking here and there. I don't know what it is with the last few episodes. There's been a lot more of a problem, I guess you could say. Now she says Shindo Bucho, which is more like Captain Shindo, like person who's Bucho is more like the leader of a club, like the club president, I guess you could say. So that would be more that than Shindo Senpai, but I can't remember if she said
今日の
Senpai
練習、
as well.
もしかしてあれが進藤部長がおっしゃってた
Okay,
こ
no, she
と
doesn't.
なんですか？
Not entirely, but he did help.
ずっと後ろ向きのままで練習なんて初めてのことでした。
I figured.
意図を聞かせていただいてもいいですか？
Sure. I explained my thoughts to Rika. I thought he was going to have it so that she can try to figure it out on her own, but okay. Rika's diligent personality means she has a flawless grasp of the fundamentals. On the other hand, she struggles when anything unexpected occurs. With that in mind, I tried to create a totally unpredictable environment to train her to deal with the unknown. Also, it should help strengthen your communication with your second.
確かにセコンドの重要性は実感しました。
She gives me a firm nod. Well, I'm glad she at least understood that part on her own. What's with the long sigh? What, don't like my methods? I kind of assume she doesn't, given the way she acted during practice. And I can't really blame her. This must be way crazier than her usual practice at Takafuji.
いえ、そうじゃないんです。今のため息はちょっと情けないなって思っただけです。
What?
はい。自分の弱点に気づかされながらもなかなか受け入れられず改善できない自分がです。
So, she understands her own faults, but she does want to accept them. Okay.
もともと私の性格から来る問題については佐藤院先輩からも指摘されていました。
Yeah, she mentioned that to me during the summer tournament. That conversation we had is related to why I'm coaching Rika now.
なのに私が意地を張ったせいでその弱点への対応が遅れてしまいました。もっと早く認めて対策していればよかったなって思います。
It's not your fault. No one wants to admit they have a major weakness. At this point, you just have to think about how to proceed.
正直まだ半信半疑です。
Well, I'm glad you're being honest at least. It'd be weirder if she suddenly accepted everything. Her diligent nature is a huge plus at times like this.
でも頑張ります。
With practice, it's good to put a lot of effort into practice. So I'm just not sure what the weird... Sure. Okay.
私変になろうと思います。
Okay. Didn't expect that. Huh? She's going to become strange? What the hell does that mean?
型にはまっているとうまくいかないんですから、もっと変になるため努力しようと思うんです。ですよね、マサヤさん。
How should I put this? I was just mixing things up in practice to loosen Rika up a bit. So I'm glad it made her want to change, but this problem lies even deeper than I thought. Never thought she'd end up looking me dead in the eye and declaring that she's going to become strange.
私、今何かおかしいこと言いました？
She stares at me as I remain silent. At which point, I can't help it. It's hard not to laugh when she's saying that with a straight face.
マサヤさん？
Rika says my name, seemingly even more confused. Sorry, I'm sorry. No, bad Masaya. Don't laugh when she's being all sincere. Instead, I need to tell her things that will make her have more fun. It's good that you're thinking so hard about what you need to be doing. But if you go too far, you risk being too stiff about it, which would make it pointless. So I need you to relax. Let your head down a bit, you know? It might be hard for you to do right now, but you should give it a try. Man. Starting to sound a lot like Aoi-san.
ごめんなさい。つい肩肘張っちゃうの良くないですよね。どうしてもみんなに申し訳ないから。
You mean everyone at Takafuji?
それもあるんですけど、なんでもないです。
Okay. If she doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe it has something to do with how she's always so diligent. So I just feel like there's something hidden here. Huh. I wonder if that's anything to do with her past. But she never talks about herself, so I have no way of knowing. She must have a lot on her mind.
マサヤさん。
Yeah?
ありがとうございます。
What for?
いえ、マサヤさんがすごく私のことを考えてくださってるんだって。それで、一言お礼を言いたいなって思ったんです。
I'm your coach. Of course I'm going to think about my players. Besides.
それに？
No. That's nothing. I'm sorry. The words almost slipped out of my mouth. But I managed to hold them in. I can't just say, I don't want you to end up like me. That would just pressure her.
なんだかお互いに言いづらいことがあるみたいですね。
Yeah, I guess so.
じゃあ、いつか聞かせてくださいね。マサヤさんのこと。
And I hope you'll do the same, Rika.
それは、マサヤさんともうちょっと親しくなったらです。
Interesting. So, here they're talking about wanting to get to know more about each other. And here Masaya wants to also know a little more about her. But as it's said in English as well, once we become... Sorry, what was it said in English again? Maybe when they become a little closer. What was interesting in the Japanese is, because I know in the Japanese we can tell when it's a formal conversation or a friendly, plain, like informal conversation. Normally you have the formal when you're talking to someone higher than you, like senpai, an upperclassman, or your coach type of thing. But then when you're talking to a friend or someone you're close to, you drop it, the formal text, the formal speech I should say, and you become more informal. What's interesting here is she was kind of becoming a little bit more informal in the beginning. But then she added the des at the end, which is more of a neutral, formal-ish. Sometimes it's hard for me to really explain it properly, but from what I believe is not informal. Because yeah, she was going to be more plain, but then she added the des, which added that barrier in a sense. That's maybe I'm overthinking it, but yeah. Closer than bringing me pork stew.
そっちはお隣さんポイントもプラスしてるんですよ。
What? She's saying that doesn't mean much? I bet most people wouldn't make pork stew for any random friend, though. Okay, that's a promise.
Hi.
Interesting little ending there. I'll read this and then we'll end it. Practice is over for the day. Everyone's changed back into the uniforms, so now we're just hanging out in the club room. Okay, so that'll be it for today. Not much. We learned that we're practicing a new style, just so that it can help everyone in different ways. Just trying to think. Wasn't too much that happened. There was just little things here and there. We know that there's something possibly about her past, about Kanoshima, and about laying people down, and that is including Takafuji, but not including them. Some other people. And I know it's not Kunohama's Flying Circus Club either, because she would have mentioned it either. It's not like something to be hidden. So it's definitely about some other group of people. Possibly before her time at Takafuji, she was part of other club, or she had friends who helped her with Flying Circus and she just wanted to let them down. Interesting to see how that is. We already know she's quite wants to be straight-laced, straightforward, wants to have everything by the book. But now, obviously, she wants to be strange. But it's unfortunate we don't see that first instance of it, because practice is already over for the day. So I'm sure she would have wanted to try and change her style, or not style, but way she goes about things already. One part I quite enjoyed today was the CG of her carrying the stew. To me, it had a lot of different emotions, in a sense. She was quite eager, and I don't think the right word would be embarrassed, or I'm trying to explain the blush she had. Can't think of the right word I'm thinking of. But it was interesting to see how she is interacting with Masaya. Slowly getting there, not really just yet. Still, trainer and sportsman, I guess you could say. Coach and trainer. Anyway. So we know she needs to change her playstyle. Not sure how it has gone so far. Not even sure how, if it'll work or what it'll look like. But I doubt it would work straight away. So we'll see some ups and downs, I'm sure. Wonder how everybody else will think about it as well. Yeah, nothing much else actually. That'll be it then. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please never know what you thought, and I'll see you all next time.